we live? Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconeros Zone for another transfer live, I would say. Season is basically done. We have a lot of things to discuss today because a lot of things happened between yesterday's live stream and basically now. And I think some new things will not break, but I think something will come up during the live. With me today to discuss everything is Dash. How are you doing?
Good. How about you guys? How are you doing, Alejandro?
My back hurts, but other than that, pretty good.
Yeah, welcome to getting old.
I'm not that old. It's just I don't know what happened. No idea. I just woke up like that. But yeah, if that's it, it's okay. Guys, people in the chat, if my mic cuts out, please let me know because I changed things. Apparently, it's not the mic that is broken, so I need to figure it out. So stick with me. It only happens when I'm live, so I need to figure it out along the way. So please let me know. And we will get into it. Do you want to talk about yesterday? Because you haven't spoke about it. You know what happened yesterday. Like nothing happened, but you know, Chiellini, Dybala, all those things. You can go.
Yeah, I mean, it was their farewell game. It was a great tribute for Chiellini, where they pulled him out at the 17th minute to iterate his 17th year with the club. Dybala was good. It was a little bit surprised because I didn't expect him to break down in tears like that, just due to some of his stuff that he was doing previously too. I mean, you know, it's inevitable they were going to leave, so I mean, I know everyone kind of had some emotions towards it. I know Twitter erupted last night and this morning about the especially the Dybala crying thing was a huge thing on Twitter. Some of it was funny, some of it was just kind of like, really. But you know, hey, kudos to those guys. Those guys did, you know, they did duties for the club. But you know, we got to move on, go on to the future, look at different things now at this point. But you know, there's not really that much. I mean, it was a meaningless game and all. Moretti played well with the ball. I think some of his positioning off the ball needs a little bit more work. But you know, there's not really much, in my opinion, to say about yesterday.
No, I agree. On the Dybala thing, I'm not gonna tell people you don't need to be sad because they're a bit younger. Like for them it's like Del Piero, like basically, you know. And so I understand that people are sad, you know, because I like Dybala. I was sad. I'm like, I thought he was gonna stay until, like I said, until he's 34, when he's basically done, and then he goes play, you know, for a French league, you know, in the MLS or something like that. That was the expectation, and going off Chiellini's comments, all those things, I think everybody expected that, you know. It wasn't the case, so I'm sad because I like Dybala, and I'm not gonna tell people you cannot be sad about it. I will only react when people put him in the same category as like, because he didn't got a far well like Chiellini did. On one hand, I like, it's obvious one played 17 years, the other 7 years. Like, there is a big difference, but I think they should have done something, in my opinion. Like, it was like they were just brushing it up under the carpet. Like, it was like that he didn't mean anything to the club, because that's not true. Like, that's a lie. But it felt like that, you know. And it was actually the players like Bonucci who actually created something for him, basically, on the pitch, because the club was basically like, you know, you're gonna leave, which I thought was not correct. But I remember Del Piero's last game, and I'm not surprised. You know, I'm surprised he did that for Chiellini. By the way, I'm shocked because I didn't expect that, knowing the club, how they operate. So it is what it is. I saw Hanin, because he's not in the chat, and I saw somebody said, because they put the video of Dybala crying, and I was like, I was okay with it, but now I want him back. And he said, yeah, me too. I'm like, that's not, like, that's why we don't run a club, because we have emotions. That's why they run the club. They have no emotions, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, you know. In some situations it's good, but in some, like the way they handled the Mandzukic thing, like, they knew fans loved him, absolutely loved him, and they treated him like he was a nobody. That was also not okay, you know. So I'm not shocked, but it's done, you know. Chiellini's gone. Dybala's gone, and we need to move up. We need to move on, and we need to move on to Di Maria. We will keep the Pogba talk for not for later, but like the Di Maria thing is the most
No, I
breaking
got
news
you.
of the day. I'm not gonna say it's done, but it's basically done. You know, if like everybody's tweeting it out, like if Romeo says it's very very close, like I don't know what can go wrong at this point. Like everything can go wrong still, but like I cannot come up with one thing that goes wrong when all the sources are saying like it's done. You know, I think they're just waiting until actually PSG play their last game, Juve play their last game, and then they will get over with it. So apparently it's around 7 million euros. It's one according to Romeo, and that's it. Other sources saying it's 1+1. I think it will be only one, or maybe it can be 1+1, but I think it's gonna be one. What do you make of that deal if it happens?
So I actually like that deal. It's more of a team-friendly deal. If they do the 1+1 and they can get the DC to work on it to give them the tax credit, I think it would be better. But essentially, it's going to be Di Maria is going to come in, play his 1 year. If he does well, we'll get him in for another year, which I think isn't bad because seeing how the current winger market is, there's not really anything out there. I mean, we can go on and say Little Z is out there, but in really, like, there isn't someone that's like quality that's out there that plays specifically really well in the 4-3-3. Because with Di Maria excels in a 4-3-3. I mean, it's his bread and butter as far as positions go. So for him to come in, I think it's good to hold the fort down for about a year, maybe 2 years tops, until we can, until we can assess the market, until that player that we want comes in there. Because Keane's not doing it, Morata's gone, and there's not really anything else. I mean, I don't think the club wants to drop 65 to 70 million for Anthony, where he's still a big question mark on how he'll fit at a big team. Because I'm not knocking Ajax at all as far as their club status. They're a great team, but you only get once in a while where you get those generational talents like a Ligt or a Frankie De Jong or even a Suarez. Like, I mean, they have forwards, but it's not every single year that you'll see something come out there. And personally, I'm not really convinced on Anthony. I think there's still a lot of question marks on his play style and how he would work. So I think Di Maria is definitely an Allegri player, and it's just someone to hold the fort until something comes out that's really good.
Um, I agree. Like the funny part is like me and Julian made that podcast thing like almost 2 months ago, and like he listed all the wingers and he put him in the don't even think about it, bracket. I remember, and I was like, I think we should think about it. And I said if it's a deal, 1 year or like something like that, to like a stopgap, and if we invest in other departments. But I was thinking about we're gonna invest in Savic, but it's gonna be, I'm saying it's not gonna be Pogba, but like that's the direction they're going in, or with, and I'm like, I'm not sure about that because it feels weird. Like it feels like we have no money basically. The deals we're trying to make, but like you said, if Allegri's gonna play 4-3-3, which I think everybody is expecting now, then Dybala cannot play that position. Like he cannot play in that. He struggles in it. But struggle, I mean, he can do better in a different position. Like you're not gonna fully use him, and that's just sad. For us, for him, it's just a waste. Like that's the reality. Um, Di Maria, do I think he's finished? No, I don't think he's finished. What I do worry about is it feels like he's coming just to go to the World Cup. And what does that mean after the World Cup? Is he still motivated? Because World Cup is in December. It's not in the summer. It's in December. So if it's a 1 year deal, say healthy, fit for the World Cup, or like play on a high level, what does that mean? For after World Cup, for January, will he take a dip? Will he be like, I'm gone in a few months? That's a question. I'm not saying he's gonna do that. That he's a guy with that mentality, because I don't know. It's just a question. people are asking, and I think it's something to consider, to debate, because it's something, interesting. A 1 year deal, because we never done that. A dry 1 year deal. I cannot remember we have done that ever, in my opinion.
I don't think we have.
It's a weird, like, it's not how do you want to say that? It's not something you see often,
Yeah,
especially at
definitely,
a top
definitely
club.
football. Yep. It's mostly something you see in American sports.
Yeah,
You'll see somebody get like that 1 year veteran deal and then that's it. But like, I mean, like you're saying, it fits in perfectly because, there's concerns whether or not he has the proper motivation after the World Cup, which is why you have that 1 year or the 1+1 option that the club can activate. Or if the club's like, hey, look, this guy dipped January here on out, thanks for the couple of months he gave us, adios. I mean, it works perfectly for the club because the thing is we need some winger depth until Chiesa comes back. Because the idea is if we get some good coverage on the wings, it'll help facilitate Chiesa's return to the pitch a lot better. Because if we can get solid wing play, let's say we use Di Maria as the example here, if we can get some solid wing play on the left, that can kind of help stall Chiesa and give him better recovery time instead of us forcing him to come back sooner than he can, and then he can pull a Zaniolo and just blow his ACL out again. Even though surgeries now and the rehab process for ACL repairs are a lot better than they were back then. But it's one of those things where I think the club wants to be, if the club does go the Di Maria route, I can tell that they're hoping that Di Maria can perform until Chiesa is fully ready to come back again. And then when Chiesa does come back, then you have that dynamic that you can either start Chiesa, you start Di Maria, just to kind of offload the stress of playing a lot of games. So you'll be able to have good rotation and good depth with those two playing on the wings as well. And then we'll also have to look at probably another winger to replace Bernardeschi. And I think Di Maria is going to be that Bernardeschi replacement. I don't think he's the Dybala replacement as everyone on Twitter was touting him to be. But
that's a weird one. I saw that. Kind of made no sense. But Marino said so. Again, people in the chat, let me know if I'm cutting out with my mic because I'm trying to fix the issue. So feedback is welcome. Marino saying, so we're wrapping up 2 deals before the start of the transfer window. What are we doing then during these 2 months? I would love it if we have all the deals we want to do done this month. Like, it's not gonna happen. Amazing. Preseason, first day, they're all there. The entire squad. Perfect scenario. So I'm not gonna complain about that. I don't know. Maybe people love the transfer news and they want to, talk about it June, July, which is fun. Fun. Yeah, it depends. But if you can get your deals done ASAP, amazing. Not like this season. Locatelli comes in a week before we start. Ronaldo leaves 3 days. Like, it was a mess. Like, and again, I'm not expecting them to have all the deals done at the start of July or mid-July. But your main guys, the guys who are gonna start, who are expected to start, they should be day 1 training camp. They should be there. Like a bench player, I get it, but the starters, they should be there. Like a Pogba, like a Di Maria, if those are the starters the club have in mind, I'm saying names now, they should be there. That would be the ideal situation. So I'm fine with that. But I said yesterday, I'm skeptical because this does not sound like Juve. Get it done now because it's moving fast. Because Giovanni Albanese, again, is he a good source? Yeah, but like, it's not top tier in my opinion. I'm not gonna what the hell is this? I'm not gonna pretend that I rate him that highly. But he tweeted out, I think a few hours ago, he said basically, Pogba, there is confidence, within the deal. Di Maria, very close. He said Perisic, possible. The Ligt, advanced talks. And Raspadori is a concrete target, It seems all too rosy at the moment, So I'm a bit skeptical.
Yeah.
I need to see.
No, I get you. So I know Justin and I talked about this last week on a live where I was saying that, look, we don't have that long of an off season per se because it's July and then the second week of August we're playing. So I think the club needs to, if they're gonna do something, they need to figure out, hey, this is who we want in the midfield. This is who we want to replace these positions. And then later in the summer, that's when you start going for your luxury players, your rotational players, your depth players. So I'm a little bit surprised because I'm used to us really starting slow. Because like even back then with like the Pjanic deals, the Benatias and all them, they were like mid-July, early August. And then like even Delict being our big acquiring player in 2019, we got him roughly like mid-July as well.
Yeah.
So if the yeah, because if the club wraps up, I think the only player that we got early was Ronaldo, and that was even in a World Cup year too. But like we negotiated everything, and essentially the second the World Cup ended, he was like, "Hey, we got him." That was probably the first time I've ever seen a player get announced early. But even with Higuain, like when we got Higuain from Napoli, we got him middle of July to the end of July. So seeing that like the club's moving a little bit faster per se is a little bit of a shock, but that could also just be the new management saying that, hey, we need to get these guys now and go this way. Because I remember I said like, hey, if we're gonna go for SMS from Lazio, we need to be talking with Lazio right now. But it looks like the club's more lean towards the Pogba direction, so they talk to Pogba, and I think they're going to give Pogba a window of, hey, either you accept us or that's it, and they'll move on to another option because I think they're not waiting. They're not hesitating on what they want to do.
No, and instead, I'm worried PSG will change their minds and keep Di Maria. They have an option here, don't they? Uh, Di Maria needs to agree for that option, apparently. But even if like PSG is not gonna say, yeah, we're gonna trigger it when Di Maria's like, I want to leave. Like they're not gonna like they're a weird club. Like that's super weird, even for any club to do that, you know. But apparently, Di Maria needs to agree with that option. I don't know, but I've never heard. There's no rumor about PSG thinking about keeping. I don't think they want to keep him. You know, for one season. I don't think um, that's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
it it doesn't make sense for them.
No, they're not gonna do. Thanks, Barca fan, for the compliment. Just doing our best. Um, I see a lot of people talking about Perisic. We'll talk about Perisic a bit later on down the stream, and we'll talk about Molina and Udoki because they were mentioned today. We will like Di Maria. Let's see. It's close. Like I think everybody expect it to be done. You know, or like it's done. Everybody thinks it's done basically, and that's fine because that's the feeling you get. You know, from everything you read here. So let's wait. I think nothing. I will be shocked if you hear this week or tomorrow. I can look like an idiot, and tomorrow can be like done deal. But I think they're gonna wait until PSG play their last game, Juve play their last game. But it's transfer market. I don't know. Let's see. Um, but that's the deal. That's the deal. The most close. Like that's the deal. The club can basically say, yeah, do it. You know, now 100% sure we want him. He wants to come. It's done. You know, we agree on terms. Easy. That's that. Then we move on to the second one, and it's Pogba. We talked yesterday, or not we, the club spoke with him yesterday for 4 hours or even longer. I think they spoke about different players. Like it doesn't take 5 hours to present one simple offer, you know. And after the meeting, you saw the key news came out, Pellegrini stuff. So they spoke about the Ligt thing. So they spoke about different things. But Pogba was the main topic. Apparently, we offered. It's all up in the air. But let's say it's 8 plus bonuses. Let's say it's that 7.5, 8 plus bonuses for 3 years. PSG are offering um, close to 11, around
Yeah, I
11
think it was.
without bonuses, 4 years. So 1 year longer, 3 million euros more at least fixed without bonuses. So that's the issue, or like that's the picture. All reports are saying the club is very confident, which is fine, but Pogba has taken time, which I don't blame him because it's a lot of money. It's a big decision. He has taken time to think about it. Well, I was gonna say something which was very important, but I forgot about it. Um, it was on Pogba. It was on Pogba. Yeah, he's taking time to think about it. Oh, okay. Um, all reports are also saying that's it. The club is not going to enter a bidding war. They made it clear. This is our offer. We cannot go higher than this. It's very simple. Pogba needs to choose more money. I'm not going to say money, like more money, which that's fair to say. Maybe a better club. Not maybe, a better team. They are a better team. Or come back to the club that where he was at his best, you know, where he was at his best, where he was loved. He can do whatever he wants in terms of he was free to do whatever he wants on the pitch, quote unquote. Um, he comes back to a coach who actually, in my opinion, got the best out of him. You know, he exploded even more under Allegri. So it's I won't say it's easy, but like it's black and white. It's more money and PSG, or come back and be basically the main guy. So that's the thing. I'll ask you really quickly before we go into more depth into it. Do you
Mhm.
think he will choose stability over more money, a better offer?
Well, so I think it depends on how Pogba is reflected at his time at Man U. So he's gone through three coaches. He went through Mourinho, he went through Ole, and then he's going through Ragnick. I know for a fact Pochettino isn't going to stay at PSG anytime soon. I think he might leave this summer or next summer. And the thing is with us, we have superstars, but we don't have big ego superstars. So like for me, it's like PSG, you have Messi, you have Neymar, and then we know Mbappe's leaving this summer, but that team is always going to revolve around those guys regardless. So I think depending on how Pogba wants to play it, if Pogba just kind of wants to come in, be the head of the mid, essentially kind of be the face of the Juventus team with Vlahovic and Ligt, or Pogba's automatically going to be that leader on the field as far as the midfield, just because of his experience and his age, because he is older than both Vlahovic and De Ligt, where I think he'll be able to kind of come in and it's his midfield, his team, and it's going to essentially rotate around him. It's honestly, it depends on how Pogba feels. It's a little bit of a toss up. I think he might have learned from his trip to Man U, where it's not all about the dollars and, the flashing lights, because Manchester United is a very, very well marketed club as far as marketing goes, advertisement and all that. So like PSG is almost kind of like the same thing right now, just because they have Mbappe, Neymar, Messi. And again, I know that Mbappe is leaving, but you still have Messi and Neymar, which are essentially two of the three, if you consider Mbappe, Neymar, or Messi, Neymar, and Ronaldo from the 2010 era, where they were the big three that everyone talked about, where you have two of those guys in the same squad. I think it's going to also hinder Pogba's play style, because the thing is Pogba needs to realize that right now Messi is going to be the chance creator for them. And Pogba essentially kind of plays a creative role, but not like Messi. So there's going to be essentially an issue with the ball going through him or Messi, essentially how they do their build-up play. Where with Juventus and his best season, which was the 2015-2016 season, his last season with us, with Allegri's counterattacks, the ball went through Pogba, whether it be a pass or a shot, whatever. Anytime the ball was in transition, Pogba was on top of the ball. So, like for example, the best game example was the second leg against Bayern Munich, where Pogba started off those two goals that we got against Bayern Munich that were really quick. Outside of the Morata run that was past to Cuadrado. But Pogba was really one of those great in transition players. And I think because Allegri is going to switch to that 4-3-3, it's going to give Pogba that in transition role. So when the ball is moving through transition, it's going to go through Pogba, and Pogba is going to see the ball a lot more. Whereas, like, for example, right now with Man United, Bruno Fernandes kind of hindered Pogba's ability, because
Yeah,
Bruno Fernandes is that creative role, and they've kind of shifted Pogba now into a defensive midfielder at Man U. And his first season with Mourinho was when he got a lot of criticism for it, but that's because Mourinho tried to play him in that defensive role. Where in France with Deschamps, he's allowed to facilitate the attack. And if you look at the passing lanes from their formation, it mostly goes through Pogba on the offensive end for France as well. So right now, it's going to be on Pogba how he wants to play. Does he want to play in a team where he can facilitate the attack with us and be that guy in the midfield? Or does he want to go to PSG where he has to compete with Messi and Neymar for the ball? Because and as well as Hakimi too, because Hakimi is also there. So there's going to be a lot of people that want the ball at PSG, but not enough ball because there's only one ball on the pitch. Whereas Juventus, the offense will roll through him. So it honestly depends on how Pogba's mindset is right now.
Yeah, that's you made some very good points. Just Misa saying I don't know how Bruno and Pogba didn't work, but Pogba and Dybala work. Dybala has a brain. Bruno not like yeah he has one,
No,
but like he shuts it off like for 70% of the game for some reason. But it's it's a difficult one. Like if he chooses PSG, nobody can say what the hell are you doing because it's like I think if he chooses Juve, people will say what the hell are you doing. Like we cannot say what the hell are you doing when he chooses PSG because it's more money. They have the better squad. Like let's not kid ourselves. They have the better squad. They have better players. Maybe not as a squad. They're functioning properly. But then again, you saw against Real Madrid, like they should have won that tie. They didn't. You need to win still. They didn't, but like they were the better team, the much better team. Guys, 50 people watching, which is great. Please like the video and subscribe, especially like because that's important. So let's see how that will develop because he's like Romano saying he's listening to all offers. Yes, to us and PSG. Like it's black and white. We're the only two clubs in for him. I think the fact that he's thinking about like he could easily say, oh, no, like that's not enough money, because it's a big drop off. It's 4 or 5 million. That's a lot of money for 3 compared to 4 years. That's a lot of money. So the fact that he's actually thinking about it, if someone wants Pogba, I would say it's positive. No, it's positive. He could have easily said yesterday, no. But all the reports are saying there's confident, like everybody's confident at the club. They're calm. The meeting went very well. There will be a second meeting. Let's see how that will develop, because I see a lot of people, and again, not calling anyone out, but like it was before the news broke that we were in for him. It was like, no, it's savage. Forget about Pogba, and now it's quote unquote getting closer. A lot of people just flip. I was like, oh, Pogba back, and which I get. Like it's excited, because he's a very talented player. But now we go into the part where you can speak again, the injuries, and you want to come on for that, and I know where you're gonna go with it, which is why I brought you on the show today because I think you're gonna make some good points, valid points, that maybe will make people change their minds on Pogba, injury, and all those things. So the floor is yours. You can go.
All right, cool. So I'm going to compare, so just to kind of give the chat an idea. So I'm going to talk about some of the stats that he had with us and then go on with the stats with Man United. And then I'm going to touch on his ankle injury as well. So from us, so he played with us from 2012 to about 2016, essentially. So his first season with us, he only played 27 matches. His second season, he played 36. His third season, he played 26. And his final season, he played 35. So if we look at that, and then I can also talk about his stats. So this is when Allegri essentially used Pogba as the offensive pivot or the offensive ball distributor. So his first season, that was under Conte, and his second season were under Conte. So he just had 5 goals, 7 goals respectively. Once he started playing with Allegri, you saw him hit 8 goals and 3 assists his first season with Allegri. His second season Allegri is when he really took off with 8 goals and 12 assists. And that's where he was feeding the ball to Mandzukic, Dybala, and Morata at that time. So then we move over to Man United, and we go over his appearances with Man U. So his first season with Man United was 30 appearances. His second season with Mourinho was 27 appearances. And this is just the Premier League. We're not counting Europe. 2016, 2017, they went to the Europa League final. So there was an additional, I believe, 10 to 12 matches there. So his third season, this was his World Cup year where he really flourished, and I believe this is when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in,
Yeah.
where he played more as the offensive distributor of the ball. This was before Bruno Fernandes came in. So he had 35 matches played with 13 goals and 4 assists. This is where his appearances dipped because of the ankle injury. So midway through 2019 to 2020, he suffered an ankle injury, which was a really bad ankle sprain. And a lot of people usually think of bad injuries as Achilles or ACL injuries, but the ankle is very dangerous as well. Just because, again, your ankle also is essentially connected to your, not directly connected to your Achilles, but it also has a correlation effect with your Achilles and your calf due to how you're running and your fitness and form. Later, turns out I wasn't. I tried to trap a ball with my right foot, and that sidelined me for an additional 2 to 3 months. So that ankle injury is really what set Pogba in back in 2019, 2020. So that injured him and put him out for an extended period of time. He had to get surgery because initially he didn't want to get surgery for the ankle. And unfortunately, he had to get a second opinion, which then he went out and got surgery. And then Bruno Fernandes essentially took in the reins of the attacking. So this year, where he tried to play together with Bruno, he was played really weird with Ragnick and with Ole. There was a couple of times where they ran a 4-2-3-1, and they put Pogba in as the left wing, kind of like how Allegri put McKennie in that forward position, which never really made sense. Also, Ragnick did that as well. Unfortunately, though, for this year, Pogba suffered a thigh rupture when he was with France. He was doing some practice shots with the trainer, and unfortunately, he ruptured his quad. And he came back. He was able to come back in February, but again, so that right ankle, I believe, was the ankle that he sprained. That's where he suffered his calf injury. Just because ankle injuries can negatively impact your calf, so it dropped him to 20 appearances for the 2021-2022 season. So if you compare it in retrospect, if you take out the ankle injury year of 2019 and 2020, he might have a little bit less, but this is just considering the Prem. But he has roughly around the same amount of appearances that he did with us. The only time that his production really got hampered in Man United was when Bruno Fernandes came into the squad and became the center attacking midfielder. But if we look at, for example, the France formation, so essentially how Pogba plays with France, it's a 4-3-3 where you have Giroud, Mbappe, or Griezmann as your front three, or Benzema in this case. But I'm talking off the World Cup and the Euro, where Giroud was the point player. So he had Matuidi and Kanté that were next to him. So what just Deschamps allows Pogba to do is he allows Pogba to essentially form that triangle or that diamond with his front three. So Pogba would push up ahead, and then you would have Kanté and Matuidi that would cover in behind him. That would allow Pogba the offensive freedom. And that's where everyone saw what Pogba could really do at the World Cup. And Mourinho absolutely got mocked for it because he couldn't utilize Pogba, but Deschamps was able to utilize him there. Same thing goes again with the Euro 2021 or the 2020, where Pogba was able to be utilized in that offensive creative role. Again, the game with Switzerland, he was able to score that screamer from outside the box, where Pogba is really essentially a box-to-box midfielder where you want to have your offense run through him, which helps out your team drastically. Because the thing is when you have Pogba in the midfield, it forces the other team to consider him or respect him as an offensive threat. Because Pogba can shoot from distance and he can drive in a very good ball. If you look at Pogba's medium to short passing statistics, he has a passing accuracy over the last, from 2012 till now, he has an accuracy of about 88.2% from short to medium game. The only lapse in his game is his long ball, which is roughly about 70% accuracy. But again, you're not going to see a long ball from Pogba where Pogba is going to be on the wing and cross the ball over. If anything, it's going to be something from deep in the middle of the park, and he's just going to try to do a long ball to the center. But Pogba's his attributes put him as a quick tempo, short pass, medium pass, where he facilitates a counterattack. And what does everybody know Allegri for as a counterattacking style? So Allegri's first stint at the club, excluding his last year with us, was a heavy counterattacking squad, where the ball would come either to Pogba or Pjanic, and then they would facilitate the ball forward either to a winger or to Higuain or Dybala, and it would go from there. So when you have a Pogba, and Pogba's last season with us was when he was the centerpiece of that offensive transition, he really excelled. And then that also then allows room for for example, if you have McKennie or if you have Zakaria or if you have any other midfielder, it takes the pressure off them because it's going to force at least one midfielder and a defender or two midfielders to watch for Pogba's runs or to watch for Pogba in general. So then that also opens up space for your other midfielders. So, like, for example, Locatelli will be able to perform a lot better than how he currently is, because right now, when other teams line up against us, they look at Locatelli as essentially being the number one player in the midfield. So they're going to either single cover him with a defender, or they're going to put him in a two-man zone where they have one player kind of stick close to him, where another player kind of roams around him, where they're able to essentially clean up if the first defender forces an error. But now that you have Pogba put in there, it shifts the focus from Locatelli to Pogba, and then that essentially opens up Locatelli. So, for example, Pogba's very good at the short passing game, which then Pogba can either slide the ball to Locatelli or Pogba can slide the ball to Vlahovic. It opens up a lot more angles, and then that can also free up Di Maria. It can free up Chiesa. So, if you can run your offense through Pogba, it actually helps your team a lot better.
Oh, like. It depends on also because the Keane news and the Paredes news. I think it's all up in the air, like with Locatelli, where he will play and all. Like, I know what I think the thing the club wants to do is clear. Like, they want a top midfielder. I think that's obvious now. I think the main target is Pogba, also because he's free. Like, it's easier to do that deal basically. So that's clear. And of course, like, if you have Pogba in your team and you let him do his thing, clubs, teams, opponent coaches, they will respect him because they have no choice. Because if you let him loose, he will hurt you. Like, he will do that, because that's who he is. Again, I've seen, like you said, Man U, I've seen him play DM. I've seen him play right wing for Man U, which was sad to watch. Like, it is what it is. So I think he knows if he comes to Juve, he's the main guy. He is the main guy, and he will get the freedom he, I think, desires at this moment in time. He wants. He knows Allegri. He knows how Allegri will let him play. He knows he is the best player on that pitch, most likely. So that's that. Going to PSG, like you said, it's Neymar, it's Messi, it's better. Like in terms of quality, like no doubt, nobody's gonna debate that, But you're not the main man over there, and that's the argument journalists are making. Like, that's something he is considering. Like, coming back, you're the main man. I think he will get the keys of that team. I think that's how it will be. He will be the guy who will make everything basically thick. Between midfield
and then imagine the fact that we're also sponsored by Adidas, and he's technically, outside of Messi, he's one of Adidas's big players that they sponsor as well. So financially, there's also lucrative deals there too, versus PSG, which I believe they're Jordan.
Yeah, he needs to make his own decision, of course. And it's not an easy, like, people say, "Oh, just come back." At the end of the day, I keep saying it. It's a lot of money. It's not, and people say, "Oh, but he has a lot of money." Di Marzio spoke, so let me see. It's a lot of money for him, yes, but it's for future generations. Like, 20 mil extra is a lot of money. Like, let's not kid ourselves, Let me see what Romeo said, because it's an article, because I cannot watch. Let me see. Let me see really quickly. Yeah, he's saying it depends on Pogba if he wants to accept a lower bid, but with the certainty that he will be the main guy in the club. Okay, that's that. Then he spoke about Di Maria. Yeah, he said talks ongoing, and then he talked about Perisic. He said, "I don't know about steps ahead or offers made from Juve. No offer at the moment. They like the player, but no offer at the moment. So yeah, nothing news. Nothing new. That's just confirming what happened today. Pogba, he needs to decide now. Di Maria getting closer. Perisic, not really, no news. So that was a non-article. That was a clickbait article. There's nothing news. Like there's nothing new. It's just they know people will click on it like I just did, like an idiot. Guys, 50 people watching. Please like the video and subscribe. Also, let me know if my mic is cutting out still. If it is, don't get mad because that's why I'm asking. Because it's something to do with streaming live. That's why my mic is not working. So it's pointless for me to get a new mic if I don't know if it keeps doing it. It's pointless. So I need to figure it out one way or another. So please let me know if my mic is cutting in and out still. So that's that. I wanted to move on to Perisic, but I think that's pointless now because apparently we made no offer at all. No offer, which I'm not surprised because the source yesterday when the Gazzetta dello Sport broke it basically, it was not a good source. Like I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a good source, but I tweeted it out because like there were rumors previous days. I ignored it for as long as I could, but at that point I was like, yeah, I need to tweet it out now, I cannot hide it anymore. But now Romeo says, Di Marzio says nothing. Giovanni spoke about it, and he said basically what Di Marzio said the club is thinking about it. He's an option in terms of if he doesn't renew with Inter, they will go for him. Now Inter are offering him, I think, 4.5 million, and he's not happy with that. And I'm like, he's a free agent, by the way. I'm like, 4.5 for Perisic, that's already a lot of money in my opinion. Like 7 is already a lot of money for Di Maria, But it's a 1-year deal. Perisic is not coming on a 1-year deal, So he wants 2, 3. If it's 6, I'm already scared, I'm already scared. Like 4.5, I'm like 4.5. I'm like, dude, that's that's a lot of money still, So that's my issue. Now, forget about the money. Like we cannot stop it, We just hope the club doesn't make stupid decisions like they did with Ramsey, Rabiot, Arthur, all those guys overpaid. But just on a pure technical level, just football-wise, do you like Perisic? Because I'm not gonna ask you, do you think Allegri likes Perisic? Because he will love Perisic. So forget about that,
Mm-hmm.
You will love him. But what do you make of the Perisic rumors? Like, do you like him? Do you think it will work? Should he come in?
So for me, Perisic to me isn't like the main guy you want leading your attack. I think he's more so of a rotational player that you would have. So like, for example, if you have your winger room where it's fully fit Chiesa, Perisic, Di Maria, and Cuadrado, it kind of gives you the ability to kind of keep your opponents guessing because they're not really sure what you're going to line up with. One week you can line up with Chiesa, Di Maria. The other week you'll line up with, like, for example, say that we're playing Salernitana and we're lining up with Perisic and Cuadrado. So as far as like a depth or a rotational piece, I'm okay with it. I don't have an issue too much with it because Perisic is a pretty good inverted winger. He can come in. He's got some decent pace. He can cut in. He can shoot, and he showed against us that he can score off really good shots outside the box. I think like for me, it's a good placeholder until Chiesa's fully fit and healthy. But once Chiesa's good, I see Chiesa knocking him off the starting position easily, and then just being a rotational piece. But right now, just seeing that there's not really anything out there in the left wing market. I would take like a 1-year or 2-year deal, like an option with it, just the same as Di Maria, where it's kind of like a prove it deal, just because I don't want to commit too much resources to him long term. I'd prefer just like a 1-year contract with an option based off of performance targets with him. If we were going to move for Perisic, for me, it'd be a 2-year deal with it being illustrated as a 1+1, just because I don't want to commit a 3 or 4-year deal to someone like that. It doesn't make sense. For me, it's like if we're going to use a Perisic, I would keep him for a year or two, wait until there's a new up-and-coming winger, and then we'll go for that guy once everything fits properly.
Because now I just read Sky Sports saying it's only Perisic if Di Maria doesn't happen. And I'm like, That's also weird because it's right wing, left wing. Then you're
Yeah.
essentially saying, okay, Chiesa, go back to the right. Then you don't have clear ideas at that point. You need to have a clear idea. Is Chiesa gonna be your right winger? Then okay, you move for left winger. Like don't, and I get it. The market is different, but like that already tells like that. Like how do you want to say like I fear a bit that the club is again going into a direction where, or Allegri is like, yeah, I will work with what I got. Whatever you give me, I will work with it. I'm like, no, that's not good. If you want to succeed, you need your players. And I'm not saying bring in Perisic, like bring in all the old guys, because that's not the way to go, of course. But it's not both. I don't believe we're gonna get both because it makes absolutely no sense to get both in terms of wages, age, like you said, all those things. It's not the smartest thing to do. We shouldn't do that. And I know a lot of people like Perisic, but it needs to be, or you get Di Maria, not, or you get Perisic, then you move Chiesa, but it cannot be both because that's weird. Nobody's telling me my mic is cutting out, so I hope that's the case, or you guys are just lazy today. But tell me if it does. Okay, so Perisic, I don't want to say forget about it, but like, I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on it at the moment. Things can change, it can change really quickly, as we know. So no news, extra news today, like tonight at this moment in time. Just the same stuff, Pogba, all those things. We're gonna move on to. Let's go to Molina and Udogi, because according to Giovanni Albanese, those are the names we're looking at. With great attention. Not just like, oh, we like Lodi or we like Emerson. It's just those who are being looked at very, very closely. I've always said I like Udogi. I do like Molina, but like I'm not certain about the price. 30, 35, also because Atletico will push for the signing, so that will drive the price up. I'm not 100% sure about the price. Like I've not seen enough. In my humble. Do I think he's a good player, Molina? Yes, I do believe that. But I've not seen enough, and maybe it's because I've not watched enough Udinese. But Udinese's fullbacks are great. Like
They're
they're
good.
they are very good. Like compared to what we have, they're Marcelo, Dani Alves. They're that good compared to what we have. Because again, the Coppa Italia, Sandro, he scored. He wasn't awful, but like it was nothing special. Pellegrini came on, he was horrendous. Like it is what it is. Like we cannot go in a season with those two guys again. Like at least one of them needs to leave. And in an ideal world, it will be first Alexandro, so you get that wage off the books. And the next season you move on from Pellegrini, because I keep saying it, he's not it. Like I'm sorry, I don't think he's ever gonna be it.
Yeah. What if West Ham gives us a really good offer this summer for Pellegrini?
Again,
You still think?
it's the second
Yeah.
season because he said no to West Ham last summer. He said that at the club because the club told him to leave, and he said no. I'm gonna fight for my place. He said no to West Ham. Now they're back West Ham. And now it's time to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now is the moment for the club to make it clear, like you're not gonna be the guy. Just you can take that deal, And if the offer is good, like if we can get our money back in terms of like valuation, which I think we will, then we should take it. Even if it means we need to keep Sandro for another year, because I don't believe Sandro's going to leave anyway because of his wages. So getting rid of one is great. Next summer, you can bring in the second one.
Yeah, and that's where my thought is because like I don't see someone buying Sandro only to pay him more than what he's making right now. The only time Sandro would even go anywhere is if he's like, okay, my career's done. I'm going back to Brazil to go play at Flamengo or something random in Brazil. That's the only way I see Sandro leaving, like as far as transfer wise. And even then, we'll probably have to terminate his contract just to get him to go. So for me, I think the only time Sandro leaves is when he's a free, and then that's it, and he's out of here. But that's why like mentally I'm like I think maybe Pogba or not. I'm thinking of Pogba. My head's on Pogba, but Pellegrini might be the one that we do sell. But it depends on whether or not Pellegrini wants to leave. I think if Juve bring in a Udogie or Molina, if one of them come in, I think that might be enough to force Pellegrini out, where they can say that, hey, look, you're third on this depth list. You're not gonna play at all. Like you're done. So like either you can sit on the bench and do nothing, or we can sell you. Or because with Pellegrini, I think the club has more leverage with Pellegrini on that one because he doesn't really make that much with us. I don't think he's even like cracking the top 10 as far as earners. So that I think that'll be a little bit something in the summer, but I'm a little bit surprised that we're both linked to Molina and Udogie. I'd be surprised if we get both of them. It would be interesting if we do, just because one plays on the left and the other one plays on the right. And Molina's stats are actually pretty good for his one season. So 34 matches played, 7 goals, and 4 assists. Yep. So he's actually done 11 goal contributions, and he's only a right back. So that's something I didn't expect when viewing his stats. But Hasta just said is Molina a right mid. According to the official source that the Italian Football Federation uses, which is Transfer Market, it says that he's predominantly a right back or a right midfielder where he switches in between the two. So he's kind of a hybrid. So
Yeah, and
don't quote me.
people are asking, isn't he a right winger, like or left back, like you just said?
Yeah.
Because we're not
So
talking about we're talking about Alexandro, but we need right backs also. That's why I'm always saying don't renew Danilo, Quadrado, De Sciglio. We need to get those guys out. When their contracts are done, they're done. You know, we cannot go beyond their contracts, in my opinion. Because even Giovanni said, yeah, Quadrado wants a 2-year deal. It's an automatic 1-year extension, and they're gonna talk about 2 year. I'm like, no, 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 no. It's 1 year. It's good. Like he's on a decline. Let's be real. And I like Quadrado. Like he gets a lot of stake also from me, but I like Quadrado. I've always liked him. But there comes a time when you need to say now it's enough. You know, it's done. And this season, it was bad. Like let's be real, it was bad this season.
He lost it. And then in the thing too, and I think, and people might hate me for this, but I think in the Pirlo season, I think Ronaldo kind of inflated his stats a little bit. Because like Quadrado doesn't really cross with a purpose. He just kind of like leaps the ball into the box, and Ronaldo kind of just was able to get in there and tap it in. Where it's like you don't have a Ronaldo in there, and like you see Quadrado just drastically suffer. So I don't know. I think Quadrado's lost it for at least 2, maybe 3 years tops. So we need to figure out an exit strategy for Quadrado as well.
I agree. Thanks for the feedback. So I tried all the settings. So it's a streaming service, so software. So I need to figure that out before I get any new mic. But Marino said, Luca Banquinhos. I wish you never told me that because I checked, and apparently the club is gonna meet with Bernardeschi's agent to understand what's gonna happen. I thought it was done. Like, so thanks for that. I need to go to bed after this, and yeah, I need to go to bed with the idea of it's still possible Bernardeschi gets a new deal, which is embarrassing. Like I will say it how it is. If he gets a new deal, like the standards are absolutely on the floor. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, he might be sleeping outside in Yeli's house with like a poster board. Please give me a 1-year deal. Please give me a 1-year deal. And like, I think they're
it's embarrassing. Like I'll say what it is. It's embarrassing. If he gets a new deal, it means mediocrity will get rewarded. I don't care if he lowers his wage. We have he's been bad for 5 years. Like I don't want to make it a Bernardeschi stream, but he's been bad. You know, every time he plays, I'm like, what's the point? You know, it's just like watching paint dry. Like nothing happens. Once in a while, once every few months, he does something, and I'm like, okay, great. But like, I'm not gonna sit here and like, oh my god, amazing. Like, bad. Like it's average. It's not good. Just get him out of here because now is opportunity. You don't need to commit, not even a single euro to him. It's done. Just let him walk. He has no offers. His manager can say whatever he wants. He has no offers. That's why they're crawling back and say, yeah, we'll take a pay cut. You know? That's all you need to know. He's just so bad, you know? Yeah, I wish I never checked that news. If he signs
Well,
a
you
new
know,
deal,
how credible is that? Because like we hear
he's
it every
okay.
other day
He's a
now.
good source. He's a good source.
Okay, because it's like there's one day where it's like, oh hey, look,
Yeah,
Bernardeschi is willing to take a $1.4 million wage, and then like 2 days later, like Romeo or someone comes out and says, yeah, like the club's not even talking to him at all.
yeah. Like it it's I'm confused. Like I'll say what it is. I'm confused. I'm actually confused that the club is actually considering. Uh, I struggle to see. Like if he signs a new deal, I'm not that day. I'm not on the channel because I'll say things. The channel will get suspended, in my opinion. So I'm not doing that. Like I cannot do it. I cannot watch him. Like I don't hate players. I'll never hate players. But when I need to watch him play, I'm like, I cannot do this. It's frustrating. I know what's gonna happen when he touches the ball. Like 9 times out of 10, I know what's gonna happen. I'm like, no. But yeah, thanks for thanks for that. Thanks for letting me check that because it was all good news today. Or like, if you want, if it's good news, if you like Pogba and Di Maria, but so yeah, like no. Before we wrap it up, we will talk about the biggest news. Well, like not the biggest, one of the biggest news we kind of ignored is the Ligt. And the funny thing about it, like me and Julian were talking about it, and he was like, I don't know if he's gonna stay, and I'm like, yeah, he's gonna stay. And then my phone went. I saw the news. I saw the news, 26. So I claimed it because I said he's gonna stay. Again, it's not done. And yeah, I know Alfredo Pedula said no, it's not done. It is what it is. Once I'll go with Romeo with the news over Alfredo Pedula. Not saying Alfredo Pedula is wrong, but he's not one of the best out there. So it's what it is. But apparently the Ligt 26 is an option, or like is a concrete option, is likely to happen. Do you like it? I don't know what.
I mean, I mean, like what? We all called it because I think Justin and I were talking about it, and we're like, hey, he's going to renew eventually. So, I mean, it's great news because you have your defensive pillar willing to commit to the club. So that means he likes where the project is going because having Raiola as his agent or anyone in that agency is always going to be tough because they're always going to look out for a way to move their player for big money moves so they can make the money off the commission. So for De Ligt willing to tell someone in the Raiola agency that, hey, we're renewing with these guys means that we're heading in the right direction because, I mean, no one's going to pay. And I think the agent also realizes that I don't think anyone's going to pay the $150 million release clause for him.
Nobody's going.
So I'm kind of curious to see what the details of the renewal are. So, like, for example, if they renew it and remove the release clause, then that kind of might be like, hey, that's going to open the door for him to move later down the road. But hopefully we cash in at that point. But the one reason is that he's probably going to renew right now is just because if hypothetically speaking, if he wanted to leave, which I highly doubt it because he doesn't show the signs of a player that wants to leave. If anything, it shows the opposite. So I think De Ligt's kind of reading the room where he sees that, hey, Bonucci's got maybe 1 or 2 years max. It's going to be him that's going to be essentially with the keys of the center back or the defense department. Just because, like, if you look at other teams, like if De Ligt were hypothetically to move to, let's say, the Premier League, there's already established center backs that he would be a number 2 at versus the number 1 center back. Whereas with us, Bonucci's on his last calf, literally. And when Bonucci leaves, it's going to essentially be De Ligt's defense, and De Ligt's going to be the main guy. Just kind of like how Van Dijk is the main guy at Liverpool, and how I'm going to say Dutch defenders. So De Vrij is the main guy at Inter as well. So the only time like De Ligt would be paired with someone like that would be for the national team. So I think De Ligt knows that he's going to be the clear number 1, and he's going to stay and say, hey, this is my team, this is my defense, and I'm going to extend and just see this out. So I think that's one of the main things. And then also he might know some insider stuff that we don't know as well. So I think the only way he moves is if someone promises him the moon, and that's the only way you're going to get him to leave. But other than that, I doubt that he leaves, and this contract renewal is a sign of it as well.
I agree. We will wrap it up with the last one. Guys, 50 people watching, only 30 and something likes. So please like the video because we're going to wrap it up now. And if you haven't checked out the daily video Justin made. Go check that out after the stream ends. Like and subscribe. As always, we will wrap it up with this question. Hanine saying, what's going to happen with the Ligt after 4 years since the growth bill is only active for 4 years? You're going to need to pay the full money. Like, it is what it is. Like, the club knows that, you know, or they think he's going to go. But, you know, I don't think that's the case. They just need to pay the money. But it is what it is, you know. You cannot sell your players just because that growth bill decree is not valid anymore. Like, that's a bad way of doing business. That's keeping players 4 years and then bye-bye. Like, that makes no sense, you know. So, you're going to need to pay him. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think he's also going to stay on the same money, by the way, which is a lot of money. I'm not saying give him a paying. I'm not saying increase his wages because I don't think that's needed. And again, maybe his agent will say, yeah, you need to give him a pay rise, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, and then also Hanine too. I think the club's going to be in better financial status in 4 years as well.
Yeah,
it's gonna take maybe 2 or 3 years, but I think because you know we can talk trash about Agnelli all we want, but the guy knows how to run the club as far as from a marketing, a global brand standpoint, as far as financial wise. Outside of the Ronaldo project, which I think if COVID wasn't a thing, I think it actually would have actually benefited the club financially, but. Those guys know how to run this business as far as money goes. So I could see us having more money and that not being an issue later down the road. Right now we're using it as a bargaining chip just because we don't have the financial resources. But once we start going back in that upward trajectory, I don't even think that that's going to be a thing that we're going to have to worry about later down the road. And then Hasta saying, what's the growth decree? So that's anyone that's working outside of Europe comes to work to Italy, they get tax, I believe it's tax bracket relief or tax cuts.
The club
salary.
needs to pay less for tax also.
Yeah.
It's for both.
So
so
that's what that degree is.
Yeah, so it's just taking advantage of the rules they put in place for this. The rules talks about them scraping the rules, but the clubs fought it. They're still fighting it, but let's see how that will pan out. We're gonna wrap it up. It's been a good one. Let's see if tomorrow some news will break. I'm not certain about it, you know, just because I don't think Pogba made a decision in one day, you know. I don't think, like I said, I don't think the club is doing the Di Maria announcement if it happens now this season, this week. Stephen saying, hey guys, Celtic fan here, love the channel, all the best. That's great. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the nice words, because that's actually amazing. That's actually crazy. Did not expect that. But yeah, thanks for the compliment. And congratulations with winning the league, because they won it this year. They won it back. I'm going to thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Did I forget something? No, there was no announcement. Nothing. Tomorrow we will be live. It will be a daily video as usual. If you haven't checked out today's daily video, it's out. Justin recorded it. Go check that out after this one. Like the channel, like the video. Excuse me. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to join the members club, you know, you can come on the show like Dash, Davide, Malik, Adam, Norbert. That's it. Only then they come on. For now, only they want to come on. You don't need to come on. So they want to come on, which is fine. That's why the members club exists. That's why I created the channel in the first place. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching everyone in the chat. And we will see you back tomorrow, same hour,